This late Victorian Queen Anne house was built in 1892, 27 years after the Civil War. The Taylor family lived in the house until 1918, when James Lindsay purchased the home. James Lindsay was 58 when he moved his family to Jackson, Mississippi from Harrison County, Mississippi, where he was a farmer. In Jackson, he started a career as a grocery shipping clerk. He had 5 of the 11 children moved to this house at this time. Some of his children in 1918 were adults, and some were not born yet. This is the Lindsay family, James Lindsay in the center, the grandfather top very right of the descendant that you will hear from in a bit. This was a progressive family where the women had careers. One was an associate editor for Good Housekeeping magazine, one a teacher, one a government worker. Some moved to Florida to begin new lives.
I have very fond memories of the house. When I was growing up, my brothers and I loved going over there and exploring upstairs, full of antique furniture, old books, and old everything. At one point, the house was divided into 3 apartments, and there were 3 doorbells on the front door. We thought that was cool. The first Lindsay to own it was my great-grandfather, who had 11 children. My grandfather was one of them. What I remember of the house growing up was that 3 of my great-aunts lived in the house until the last one passed away. My great-aunt John Elizabeth, was the last of the 11 siblings to pass, and she was the last member of the family to live in the house. She passed in 1994, and my uncle, the executor of her estate, sold the house to the next-door neighbor. Unfortunately, nobody in the family was ready or willing to move into the house, and at the time, it was in a very bad part of town. Even in my youth, that area of Jackson wasn't so nice. Several of the neighbor houses were still in good condition, but the overall area was already well into decline. We worried about our elderly aunts living there. The house was broken into a couple of times while my aunts were there, but fortunately they were unharmed. I used to think about how it would have been nice if they could have moved the house somewhere else and restore it to its full grandeur. It really was a beautiful house in its prime.
This 1918 map shows that it once was a neighborhood of comfortable homes. A beautiful screened-in porch for sipping mint juleps on a warm summer's night.
I was told by my great-aunts that U.S. Grant stabled his horses on that property before he attacked Vicksburg in the Civil War. Years ago, the property had a dozen enormous fig trees behind the house, and we would pick seemingly millions of figs every year.
The house was on 3 acres of land, which was altered slightly in 1948 when a kitchen was added and a bathroom was made from the back porch. After the father, James Lindsay, died in 1924, Will Shaw was hired as a servant. He passed away in 1941.
I'm now trying to remember if there were 11 or 12 siblings. Most were girls, only 3 or 4 were boys. Most of the girls never married. The story was that none of the suitors were good enough for my great-grandfather. John Elizabeth was the youngest, and I think my great-grandfather wanted one more son. Didn't have one, so he named his daughter John.